You may run into a situation where you need to configure the way the device works for your users, but you can't physically get to the device, or there are just too many to manually go through and configure yourself. You can configure them remotely using our client settings. You do this by signing into your server, and under Client Configuration, enter Client Settings, and we'll just go through the steps of adding one. Right-click somewhere in the dead space and select Add. This is going to bring the Add Client Setting window. Now, the first field that you see is Group. This is the type of client setting that you're going to add. In this case, let's say I wanted to add color support. Well, that applies to almost every single device, so we're going to leave that as All. And then I've got this little checkbox here called Sort Settings. That means that for these pull downs, it's now going to sort them alphabetically. So now all I have to do is follow the C's until I get to color support. When I select it, it does a few things. One, it gives me a short description of what that setting does, and it gives me a checkbox called Enabled. If I leave this unchecked, it means I could do everything I want with this setting and it won't affect any devices until I'm ready. However, if I am ready, I'll check that Enabled box. Now, the setting level takes a little bit more describing. There are 4 different ways to apply a client setting. The first one is globally. It means that any device that connects to your server is going to get this setting, whether they like it or not. But you can limit that down in one of 3 ways. The first way is by device type, and this is the Staylink device type. This is the name that you see on the Staylink splash screen just under our Staylink logo. I usually recommend this if you're going to do a particular type of device you've got in your environment. Say all of your Motorola MC9190s or all of your Intermec CK71s. But let's say you've got a couple different types of devices in your environment. Well, then I'd say IP range. That way you can do a low IP and a high IP, and it will apply to every device in that particular network. However, if you need to get very specific, like for a single device, then I recommend using the MAC address of the device's radio. This can be found on the Staylink client on the device using our radio stats. Once you have it set, I'll go ahead and set this back to global. Then you need to put a setting value in it. In this case, there are only 2 setting values, off or on. It's usually on by default, but let's say that you need to force it. You can go ahead and select on. And like I said, we have this checkbox enabled, which means that it's now active. And then when I hit OK, it's now in my client settings list. Set to global, which means that every device that connects to this server from here on out is going to get checked whether color support is on. If it's off, it's going to get turned on, and if it's on, it's going to stay on. If you have any questions about the Staylink client settings, or need help with setting them up, please feel free to contact the Staylink technical support at 714-918-7817, or you can email us at support@stay-linked.com.